Hello friends, very warm welcome to my Business Laws channel. Today friends, I am going to introduce LLP Act 2008. So in this video, what I am going to cover, I will be covering meaning and nature of LLP, then features of LLP, distinction between partnership and LLP, and then the second last heading will be distinction between LLC and LLP, and the last will be conclusion. So let us start now. Now LLP has been defined under section 2(1)(n) of the LLP Act 2008, which defines LLP as limited liability partnership, means a partnership formed and registered under this act. Under this act means under the LLP Act 2008. And now number of amendments have taken place under this LLP Amendment Act 2021. So in my video lecture classes, I will be covering all these amendments also. Now nature. There are 8 points under nature. Under the heading of nature, body corporate, perpetual succession, mutual rights and duties of partners, separate legal entity, mutual agency, lawful business, change in the partners, and non-applicability of the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So friends, I'm going to take up the heading features of LLP. And these points are there also. There is overlapping of the points. So I will explain there under the heading features of LLP. And if you have any doubt, you are always welcome to write your doubts in the comment section. I will always reply at the earliest. Features of LLP. Now friends, I would like to share with you, sometimes question is asked in the examination, describe the salient features of LLP. Now as far as salient features of LLP are concerned, friends, there are 6 points. All the points which are before you on the slide: body corporate, separate legal entity, artificial person, perpetual succession, common seal, and the last is limited liability. So friends, I will explain these points. If salient features question is asked, you have to write all these 6 points with explanation. And if the question is asked on features of LLP, so depending upon the marks of the question, you will have to write the answer. So body corporate. Now the question arises, what is body corporate? Body corporate means, friends, LLP registered in India, LLP registered outside India, or company registered in India, company registered outside India. No separate legal entity. You know, friends, as far as registration is concerned, registration is must for LLP. So after getting it registered, LLP becomes a separate legal entity. Being the separate legal entity, it can own assets, it can have liabilities, capital, okay. So it has its own independent existence like the joint stock company. Then artificial person. LLP is not natural person. Now, all the acts which can be undertaken by the natural person, those acts cannot be undertaken by the artificial person. So, LLP is an artificial person. It is created by a process, legal process, which is known as incorporation or registration. And it is dissolved by another process, which is known as dissolution or winding up. So, LLP is an artificial person. So, LLP cannot marry, LLP cannot join professional courses, okay, because LLP is not the natural person. Perpetual succession. LLP has its own perpetual succession as it is a separate legal entity. So the death, insanity, insolvency of the partner will have no impact on the life of the LLP. LLP flows like a river. The water keeps on changing, but the river remains the same. That is, the partners keep on changing, but the LLP remains the same unless and until it is dissolved. Common seal. LLP may have common seal. It is not mandatory for the LLP partners to have common seal. No, LLP may have common seal as per section 14, which will act as official signature of the LLP. The limited liability. No, there is no concept of unlimited liability in case of partnership. So this limited liability concept distinguishes the LLP from other forms of business organization. Partners' liability is limited up to the amount of contribution. So whatever they have contributed, if they have contributed their agreed amount, then in that case, friends, their liability will be nil. Only in case of fraud, their liability will be unlimited. Management of business. Now, business of the LLP has to be managed by the partners, normal partners or designated partners. No mutual agency. Now here, LLP, every partner is the agent of the LLP alone, but no partner can bind others with the acts of his own acts. No mutual agency. There is no mutual agency element in case of LLP, which is there in case of partnership. Minimum and maximum number of partners. Now, the LLP Act 2008 provides LLP should have minimum 2 partners, and the LLP Act 2008 is silent about the maximum number of partners. Business for profits only. LLP can be set up for profits only. Now, next point is LLP agreement. No, LLP agreement is not mandatory for the partners. If the partners want that they should draft LLP agreement, then they need to draft LLP agreement. Otherwise, if they decide not to have LLP agreement, then the mutual rights and obligations which have been contained under Schedule 1 to the LLP Act shall apply. Next point is annual accounts and audit. No, LLP is required to get its accounts audited where the turnover exceeds 60 lakhs or the contribution exceeds 25 lakhs. Investigation. The central government has the right to investigate into the affairs of the LLP. Compromise or arrangement. No, compromise or arrangement. Any compromise which has to take place or any arrangement has to take place, it will always be done with the provisions which have been contained under the LLP Act 2008. Conversion into LLP. LLP can be, partnership firm can be converted into LLP, or private company can be converted into LLP, or unlisted public company can be converted into LLP. So there are some provisions which have been contained under section 55 to 58 of the LLP Act 2008. They shall apply. Schedule 2, 3, 4 and sections which have been contained under section 55 to 58 shall be applicable. So winding up of LLP. Broadly speaking, there are 2 winding up of the LLP. One is voluntary winding up of the LLP and second is compulsory winding up of the LLP. And LLP can also be dissolved under IBC 2016. So the provisions of that shall be applicable. Then the Companies Act 2013. Some of the provisions of Companies Act 2013 shall apply to LLP. Taxation of LLP. LLP Act 2008 is silent about the taxation of LLP, but the Finance Act 2009 has laid down the roadmap for LLP. So the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961 shall apply to LLP. So details, provisions of taxation of LLP, for this I will be creating one video, and in that video I will cover all the provisions relating to taxation treatment of LLP. Then e-filing of documents. All documents will have to be filed online. So there will be digital filing of all documents regarding registration, or otherwise if there is a change in the name required or register office has to be changed, all documents need to be filed online. Foreign LLP. Foreign LLP can also be the partner or in the Indian LLP with the prior permission of the central government. Non-applicability of the Partnership Act 1932. All the provisions of the Partnership Act 1932 shall not apply to the LLP. So friends, I have discussed all the features of LLP, including the salient features of LLP, and if you have any doubt, you can always write in the comment section. Now moving ahead, friends, let me tell you, LLP Act 2008 has got 14 chapters, 81 sections and 4 schedules. Schedule 1 contains the mutual rights and obligations of partners. Schedule 2, 3 and 4, they contain the provisions regarding conversion into LLP. And first LLP in India was established on 2nd April 2009. And now friends, I will take up two distinctions. First is the distinction between partnership and LLP, and second will be the distinction between partner LLC and LLP. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company, and LLP, you all know, Limited Liability Partnership. Now friends, I'll take up all the points of distinction between partnership and LLP. First is Regulating Act. What regulates partnership? You all know, friends, the Partnership Act 1932. And what regulates the LLP? There is LLP Act 2008. As I have told you, LLP Amendment Act has also been passed, which is LLP Amendment Act 2021. Body corporate. Partnership is not a body corporate, but LLP is a body corporate. I have defined what is the meaning of body corporate. Separate legal entity. Partnership firm has got no separate legal entity. It is a totality of partners. But LLP is a separate legal entity from its members. Partnership is created by an agreement. Partnership is always born out of agreement. But LLP is always created by a legal process, which is known as registration. Registration is not compulsory or it is voluntary in case of partnership, but it is mandatory or compulsory in case of LLP. Maximum number of partners. It is 10 for banking, it is 20 for any other business, but it is there is no limit. That is, the LLP Act 2008 is silent about the maximum number of partners. Liability of each partner is unlimited in case of partnership firm. That is why we talk about private debts versus firm's debts. Partner's liability in case of LLP is limited up to the amount of agreed contribution. Designated partner. There is no concept of designated partner under the Partnership Act 1932, but at least 2 DPs are required in case of LLP. And perpetual succession. The death, insanity, retirement, insolvency of the partners will definitely affect the existence of partnership firm. But death, insanity, retirement, insolvency of the partners will not have any impact on the existence of LLP. Common seal. There is no such concept in partnership, but LLP may have its common seal as its official signatures. Next point is the name. There are no guidelines regarding name in case of partnership. There have been certain guidelines regarding name of LLP, that every LLP has to put after its name the limited liability partnership as suffix. Limited liability partnership or LLP as suffix. Mutual agency. Each partner can bind the firm as well as other partners by his own acts. But each partner can bind the LLP only with his own acts. But he cannot bind the other partners. Legal compliances. All partners are responsible for all the legal compliances and penalties under the Partnership Act. Only the DPs are responsible for the compliances and penalties under the LLP Act 2008. Audit of accounts. Audit of accounts required if the annual turnover exceeds 60 lakhs. Under the Finance Act 2012, the limit has been raised to rupees 1 crore. But auditing of accounts is required if the annual turnover exceeds rupees 60 lakhs or contribution exceeds rupees 25 lakhs. Annual filing of documents. Partnership firm is not required to file any document with the Registrar of Firms. LLP is required to file documents with the Registrar of Firms. So, documents have to be filed, annual statement of accounts and SAS statement of solvency. So, annual return also has to be filed with the ROC within the prescribed time. Now, next is foreign nationals. Foreign nationals cannot become a partner in the partnership firm, but foreign nationals can become a partner in the LLP. Minor partner. Minor partner can be admitted to the benefits of the partnership with the prior consent of existing partners, but minor cannot be admitted to the benefits of LLP. So you all know under Section 30 of the Partnership Act 1932, minor can be admitted to the benefits of the partnership firm with the prior consent of the existing partners. Resolution or winding up. Partnership firm may be dissolved by mutual agreement or on the happening of certain contingencies. For example, death, insolvency, or by the court order, which is dissolution with the intervention of the court. The winding up of the LLP may be either voluntary or by the order of the National Company Law Tribunal. So either can be voluntary winding up of the LLP or compulsory winding up of the LLP or by the order of the National Company Law Tribunal. And this LLP can also be wound up, under IBC, okay, which I will take up later on in one of my videos. Second last point is management. The business of partnership is managed by the partners with the agency relationship with other partners. Agency relationship you all know, which is the mutual agency. And partnership affairs of LLP are managed by the partners or designated partners. Mode of maintenance of accounts. The Indian Partnership Act 1932 is silent about the mode of maintenance of accounts. But as per Section 34, subsection 1, the accounts can be maintained on cash or accrual basis. Accrual means, you all know friends, being common students, you all know accrual means any expense or income which belongs to the particular year, financial year, whether it has been received or yet to be received. Okay, or in expenditure, it has been incurred or yet to be incurred. All these will be considered while preparing the accounts. This is all about the distinction between partnership and LLP. Always write the distinction in the tabular form. And now friends, I'll take up the last heading, which is distinction between LLC and LLP. Though I will be covering in this video lecture only the 10 points, but there are more points also, and you go through those points. If any of the points is not clear to you, you can always ask in the comment section. What regulates companies? Companies Act 2013. What regulates LLP? It is the LLP Act 2008. Members and partners. We use the term members in case of a company. Members buy the shares. Members invest their monies. Okay, but we use the term partners in case of LLP. Internal governance structure. LLC is always regulated by Companies Act 2013. It is governed by, LLP is governed by contractual agreement between the partners. Name. Public company should contain limited beyond its name, and private company should put private limited as suffix. But LLP should always write limited liability partnership or LLP as suffix. Maximum number of partners. Private company, the maximum number of partners is 200 under the Companies Act 2030, which was 50 earlier. But public company maximum limit is not given. And even for LLP, under the LLP Act 2008, maximum limit has not been provided. Minimum number of partners. In the private company it is 2, and the public company it is 7. The minimum members are 2 in case of LLP. Purpose. It can be created for economical or non-economical purpose. LLC. But LLP can be created only for economic purpose or profit purpose. It cannot be established for charitable purpose. Transfer of interest. A member can transfer his interest freely without any restriction. Restrictions are there in case of private company, but restrictions are not there in case of public company. A partner of LLP can transfer subject to the provisions of agreement. Then minimum capital contribution. Private company 1 lakh, public company is 5 lakh. But this has not been specified under LLP Act 2008. But even, there are some new provisions regarding this under the Companies Act 2030. Whistleblowing. Some provisions only, not many provisions. But the LLP Act 2008 has provided adequate provisions. Protection to the whistleblower under Section 31 of the LLP Act 2008. If he has blown the whistle against wrongdoing, then it does not mean that he has committed offense. So, a lot of protection has been given to the whistleblower under Section 31 of the LLP Act 2008. So friends, this is all about the various distinctions. Now I would like to conclude. You all know, friends, that LLP is the flexible and the hybrid structure because it combines the features of partnership and LLP. Partnership and LLC, that is a company. And it will be very useful to the entrepreneurs, service providers, small and medium enterprises, venture capitalists and professionals. They can organize and operate in an innovative and efficient manner, and they can be successful in the global market. This is all about the various headings regarding the LLP. I hope you will like the content. Do subscribe to my channel. If you are not subscribed yet, do press on the bell icon to get notifications of my future videos. Keep smiling always and stay blessed also. Friends, okay, we will meet soon. Goodbye, everyone.